Yo, it's Monday. So you know what that means. It's time for another episode of Marcus in the Man Cave with your boy Marcus and my beautiful, amazing co-host, Miss Chanel Mayfield. How you doing?
I am wonderful. Very tired, but I'm wonderful. Happy
Very
Monday.
tired. It's been a while since we've seen each other. Your
I
hair done changed since we
know.
seen you. The hair has changed. Mm. And we have with us Miss Kristen Howard. She's been here before. We thank you for coming.
Thank you
Welcome
for
back.
having me.
Oh, yeah, the pleasure is all ours. Oh my gosh, it's been about what 3 weeks.
Yes.
Mhm.
Been a long
Three
time.
3 weeks. The Son of Man done come and died and then was rose again. And then we hadn't had a show since.
All right, he got up.
You gotta.
We got up with all power. Ooh,
Amen.
glory. Glory.
We serve an unbelievable. The
Unbelievable.
words of God. An
Mm,
unbelievable God. Okay.
mm, mm, mm. They threw up layups, but the Lord
Did,
hung
is
up.
that Anthony?
Anyway, but
Did he change his name?
what?
Who name?
Oh no.
You thought Ant changed his name?
Yeah, but that's somebody else. I was like,
Oh.
Oh yeah.
Well, thank y'all all for coming to watch tonight's show. Tonight's show is going to be fun. It's going to be real. It's going to be deep. So I do want to issue a trigger warning. Now that if you or anyone you know has been affected by sexual assault in any way, this might not be the episode for you. But if you choose to stay, we will appreciate your support for this woman here who is going to tell her story. So we do appreciate that. With that being said, what did y'all do for Easter Sunday? What y'all do? Janelle, you want to start?
we went to church.
Visited the
And
good Lord.
then it was good. Nothing too spectacular, but it was good. It was good enough. The choir was singing.
Okay.
Oh, they were giving it all they got.
They really were. They did great. They
That's
did
I
great.
love that. I love
That's a
that.
blessing.
People actually came to rehearsal. I love to hear.
Yes. I mean, they definitely were ready.
I love to hear.
And then I made smothered turkey legs for dinner.
And you didn't take any pictures because remember we
I
said
didn't.
you said
She
You were
took
gonna
pictures
take
before of the
I'm so
seasonings
I'm
and
gonna do
things.
it again because I want to go somewhere else to see if their turkey wings are better. I have this whole like thing.
Okay.
I feel like you're making excuses for the fact.
Because
that
I
I'm
ain't seen
not.
no
I'm really
pictures.
sorry. Let me acknowledge and allow.
She's gonna take pictures of all the seasonings that she used. Talk about
I'm
something.
so
It
sorry.
didn't
Smothered
actually
turkey.
post it.
Sure,
We ain't
that's
see a
though.
thing smothered.
I'm gonna make them again and send you pictures.
Okay.
No, send the man cave pictures. Don't just send it to me. We
I
all
will-
hungry.
listen, I will post on the stories.
Go do it.
Okay.
Y'all heard it here first. Y'all heard it here. April 8th. Okay. Miss Kristen, what'd you do?
I also went to church. I didn't make no type of food. I came home and I relaxed and got ready for work the next day. That was it.
Because even the Lord rested. He rested too. So
So I
sometimes
just
we all
rested.
need it.
I needed it.
So, oh, that's a nice cup. Did you just want to feature the cup just now?
It's
Was
from the
that
Black History Month section of Target.
Amen.
was that just a plug real quick that you just wanted to make, or was that?
No, but I am now a Target creator. Just to let y'all know.
Yes,
Ooh,
ma'am.
I'll tell y'all she's famous. I'm not gonna be able to afford her soon.
You ain't.
I'm not.
Get your pockets ready.
I had an interesting Easter because I was supposed to be coming home on Easter and I got stuck out in the jungle
But wait,
in
there's
the
a word
motherland.
here.
Is it?
You were in the motherland for Easter.
You
I
were.
was. And the mosquitoes towed me up. That's what it was. That's the word. I was getting towed up left and right.
Were they serious? I'm so that's a. I
This
don't.
is the
I'm not
suffering
scared of
Jesus
those
was
kinds of
talking
things.
about. I was disclosed. Like, we need to make some adjustments. But no, it was nice. They had I was at a hotel that is also on a wildlife preserve. So there's wild zebras walking around, antelope. I mean, and there was nothing to do, but to eat and drink because there's nothing to do there. You're in the middle of a wild house.
I would sit and watch the animals all day.
Oh yeah. Well, you didn't have to worry about that because they were watching you. So so you'd be going back to your room and zebras just like, nah, bro, you're gonna have to walk around. And I'm like, all right. So you walk around the zebra. You feeding giraffes, elephants,
just feeling all of the joy.
Oh, then my friend's room got raided by baboons. So all his snacks got eaten.
Y'all were living. I'm so jealous of you.
No, you think I like the way you're hearing this in your mind versus the way I'm trying to tell you about this.
I love animals.
You think you do?
I do. I want them to be. Listen, when we went to Dominican Republic, a monkey randomly ended up on my shoulder, and I lost it.
No,
well, these aren't monkeys. These baboons, like face stealing baboons. Like they're not your friend.
Baboons are scary, yes, but the zebra, the giraffe,
the zebras was cool. They always rode in like a zebra. That's how they were saying it. So I was like, They were saying the zebras. So
Mm-mm.
no, they rode in a crew. Where the little babies were in the middle, and they would eat the grass all around the little ones, and then
Mm.
Did you see elephants? Oh my god.
my dog's getting jealous of me talking about the other animals right now. He's like, "Shut that up." But
Did you
but
see elephants?
yeah. So yeah. But then the most breathtaking thing was I've been at that hotel before, but this time I got to spend more time at Victoria Falls, which is the largest waterfall in the world, and it's a 5-minute walk from the hotel. So you just walk,
Period.
That's
and you
nice.
just get to see nothing but the.
So what are we
It's,
complaining about?
I didn't have no more
You're
draws.
ungrateful.
I was out of draws.
You're wash them by hand.
Wow.
You
That's
don't
not
understand
very
this.
good option.
See, you're not understanding
No.
how this went
Not,
down.
you're
And
not
I was tired of eating.
living
I can't
what
eat the
God blessed
vegetables.
you with.
I couldn't
You
eat the
was living the
vegetables.
life.
I couldn't eat the vegetables, so all I had to eat was like French. Yes, it's a first world problem, but I was ready to come home when I was ready to come home.
That's it.
And but it was a good time. It was a good time. I thank the local people of Zambia for being so fun. They let us sing
Yes,
karaoke for
all
them.
black people.
It was amazing. And they think all of us are like The Wire. So this is great. That's like their show that they think
that's
that's
not-
us.
That's
That's
not great at all.
Yeah,
Positive,
no,
though.
I'm saying it. No,
That's
yeah,
not good
it was.
representation.
First of all,
Yeah.
I'm not a crackhead nor a drug dealer.
They think
So
we're
what
all
are
like
you trying to say?
we're all gangsters in
like
there,
that.
and it's great. They
Mm.
thought we were all ready to fight. And I was like, no.
Well, why can't it be like American Gangster or something? The Wire is
Mm.
so not.
That's a little much.
I know, but that's the one they know because they get the British black people, so Idris Elba stuff gets over there a lot.
Oh,
So
fair.
that's what
But
they
they don't
get.
think Luther.
Oh, they like Luther, yeah.
That's my jam.
That's good.
But yeah, speaking of just black gangsters, we missed a lot over the last few weeks. So we got Diddy. Diddy happened. The whole Diddy thing happened. And while I'm out there flying around, his plane is out there flying around, and we're just like, oh, let's track Diddy. This will be fun. But apparently he's still living large, doing what he's got to do for now.
He is for now.
Yeah, I guess he's getting close to the edge.
I'm certain he's getting everything in order right now.
I'm sure he's selling off everything. Volt. He sold off Volt. So a lot of his empire is starting to be divested. But that makes me believe that he's not gonna go to jail. He's just getting his money right to make this large payment that he's gonna have to make. So
Yeah, for sure.
I'm gonna guess that. Beyonce dropped an album in that time period. It's just not working for me. I'm hoping the Act 3 is what I need because Act 1 and 2 just not it for me. Nothing against Beyonce. Love what she's doing. I love the positivity she's brought to other black country artists. I love that she got Willie Nelson to do it. Like that's
brilliant.
Right.
Brilliant. Every move she makes is just so so
She's
amazing.
strategic.
Yeah. So people who don't like it, whatever. I'm sure they're gonna cheat her out of a country music award or whatever they need to do.
We will ride it. We will ride it in the middle of the night.
I smell indictments coming for Diddy. The United States government don't play. Yeah,
I
they
was
don't
gonna say,
play.
I feel like with all the Nickelodeon, all this stuff coming out, I think they about to be like, listen, we tighten up some screws, y'all, and we holding y'all accountable. And they gonna need some faces to be example.
Yeah. I believe it when I see it.
Fair.
Nickelodeon documentary. I know that was a big one we were going to talk about, but I was again stuck in Africa with baboons, and they didn't want to hear about it. So
you didn't watch it?
Listen, I know I ingest a lot of craziness. But there's just some things my spirit can't take.
So Love is Blind is okay. Nickelodeon.
I didn't watch this season or last season.
Oh, you didn't? I thought you were a big Love is Blind fan.
No, a lot of people were very upset that I didn't watch the season, but because everyone was showing me how stupid these people were, and I'm in a very good space in my marriage, and I am careful about what I bring into our atmosphere, I couldn't do it. And I'm sick of seeing black folk act foolish. Can't do it.
Yes, agreed.
What else happened? Oh, the last thing was the Baltimore Bridge. The bridge in Baltimore that collapsed, a bridge that I've gone over many a times.
7,500,000.
Yeah. Like I know I've been over that bridge multiple times. It's just anytime I was going to Jimmy's to get my crab cakes, I'm going across that bridge. It was less traffic. I didn't have to deal with everybody. But it was crazy watching everybody thinking they were an engineer. Like all of a sudden they know how bridges work and collapse. Conspiracy theories all out the woodwork, and then diversity inclusion mayor all of a sudden, like the racist comments about the mayor. First of all, Baltimore is a black city if you've never been to Baltimore. So if it was a white mayor,
I loved it.
if it was a white mayor, that would be the diversity hire. So maybe do your
research.
yeah.
Yeah.
Just like, what did the bridge collapsing had to do with the mayor being black? Like,
They
okay,
literally blamed it on black
yeah,
people.
it was
That's
really crazy
ignorant.
to watch, sad to watch. But that young man has been doing as good a job as he can with that
He really
city,
is.
with all the corruption up there. And they decided to, instead of talking about the loss of life of the 6 people that were on that bridge, they talked about the clothes he wore at 2 a.m. while talking to the press about what happened.
You know why they didn't care? Those were
Oh, yeah.
immigrants. They
Yeah.
didn't care about them folks. It was like,
Yeah.
oh, we was gonna probably send you back anyway. So
Exactly.
Yeah.
As soon as you finish doing your job.
yeah,
Jazz says
you
that
know what?
bridge effed up my commute to the Baltimore federal courthouse.
Oh, girl, I know it
Jazz is
did.
our friend from the. Hey, Jazz.
But
I
I
know
was gonna
it
say,
did.
I knew that the traffic was
Terrible.
horrendous.
Oh yeah.
I can't imagine.
Oh
Oh,
my
yeah.
gosh.
But that was really sad to see. So a lot of stuff happens. Sorry we didn't get to it, but sometimes we, I think God plants these delays in front of us so we can take breaks ourselves. So I think I needed the break. I'm sure you could use the break. But speaking of sad news, Jermaine, J. Cole at his Dreamville Festival issued an apology and quailed the beef with Kendrick Lamar, stating that it didn't sit right with his spirit.
But
Yeah, it didn't sit right with his spirit, the
Okay.
beef, and that he was at a higher level of like existence now where he just wants peace. And my only thing is, man, you let a man punch you. You punched him back for punching you. Good job. And then you're gonna apologize for defending yourself,
Right.
Like I get it that you just, and I love J. Cole, y'all. Like he really restored my faith in hip hop at a time where I thought it was going down the drain. I felt like, okay, well, this is what Kanye should have been. This is where I thought Kanye was gonna be and stay.
Sure.
As like, this is our second chance, and beef is part of rap culture. It's just a part of rap culture. It's a thing. It lasts for a few years, a few months, maybe just a few tracks, and it's over. This man was up there talking about like they had pulled switchblades and AKs on each other, and there was blood running in the streets
like it was
of Fayetteville.
What is going on?
Yeah, like there ain't no marching protests on this. It's just y'all beefing about who top three, who not. Like y'all throwing back diss tracks,
It's
7 minute drill.
like, healthy if you think about it.
And now we're getting an exhibition of your lyrical skills. Everybody's winning in this. You're getting views. Kendra's getting views. Everybody wins. Drake is being Drake. Like everybody's winning. And then you do this. And I feel like it's just so contrary to what rap is as a genre, as a culture. And it's just like everybody's trying to defend it. And I'm a Cole fan too, but I'm just like, y'all, if someone slapped me, there's a bunch of people trying to say y'all just haven't reached that stage in your life where y'all don't want to fight.
No, I haven't.
But if that's the case, then don't say anything.
Don't say anything.
Since you at a higher level, don't say anything at all. What was the point?
He wasn't saying sorry for punching. He was saying sorry that he had to do it to somebody he actually loved. Because
did he have to?
No, he didn't have to say that
because Drake is the one that started all of this. That's the thing. Drake is in the corner cackling.
Let this be a lesson that sometimes your friends will get you in the mess that you don't need to be in.
Drake is literally in the corner watching them all be
being messy.
But yeah, like I just felt like, bro, say it with your chest and go at it. Like and whoever wins. It ain't like y'all really like fight. Like no, because my biggest argument with Kendrick has always been like, I love Kendrick, but for me, Kendrick, I have to listen to him when I'm in a certain mood.
And he don't put out enough music.
And he don't put out enough music. It's like 5 years between an album for him. So it's like I like a little bit more consistency. As Ludacris said, I put out an album once a year for my fans' sake. Like I want you to give me some music. And he doesn't do that. So I thought it was great that this beef started. It got him back out and started like so.
That's right.
To me, it was giving everybody what they wanted. And now you go do this. It was a little weak. But we had our reporter on the ground at Dreamville, Miss Janelle Mayfield, and she's going to tell us how it all went. Tell us.
Thank you so much. I was here live at the Dreamville Fest. No, we did go to Dreamville. Day one was great, very well organized, except for the audio. There were audio issues all weekend. Day two, I literally just got a notification saying J. Cole apologizes for Kendrick Lamar. Anyway.
wait, before you start, hold on. I gotta read this comment. First of all, my man Rod, man, we go way back. He said, "Where I'm at nowadays, man, I'm in St. Louis now. No, I'm not a hockey fan, y'all. I just like the colors of the
I didn't know what that was. I was letting you enjoy yourself.
I'm not a hockey fan, so but the team here is the Blues. I'm wearing it. He said, "I want to send some food to the podcast." My man got he smokes food for his business, for his restaurant. Feel free to plug that, man. Food. For all my Virginia fam. So put that in there. If you can find a way to ship that.
Wait a minute. In Virginia, we'll be in Virginia next in 2 weeks.
Yeah, so y'all hit him up. Rod's Kitchen, man. Food looks amazing. I hope I get a chance to get over there and try some of that. But yeah, if you find a way to put that thing on some dry ice and ship that, yeah, I will definitely eat that. Go ahead. I'm sorry to cut you off.
Okay. So first, I need to let y'all know everything they're posting about Dreamville is a lie, because half the artists were extremely late. Nicki Minaj didn't show up for an entire hour, and she only performed for 15 minutes, and she was supposed to do a 45-minute set. Lies. And one of the artists, his entire audio was jacked up. He left early, and it was 2 hours of silence. So everything they're showing you is a lie. Jermaine Cole did come out on time. Somehow he came out perfectly on time, and he came out pulling out hits. I was so excited. I mean, everything was good. Audio issues, but for the most part, everything was good. And then he pulls out, is it 6 black or black? I feel like this is aging me. I don't know.
No, I'd be like 6 lack.
But he came out and they did a song together. And then Jermaine was like, can you do one of your songs? And he starts doing like a poetry slam.
What?
This is like when Erykah Badu brought out Mos Def, man.
Okay.
This sounds just like
then
that.
After that, Jeremiah was first. Sorry, I forgot about Jeremiah coming out singing
he's still singing
birthday song. If I hear it one more time,
birthday 6.
So then he brings out Benny the
who?
Burner, somebody who I don't know. Everyone he brought out, he basically stopped rapping and asked everyone else to rap.
Oh,
so
no.
So he was done.
And the rumor was that he was bringing Drake, he was bringing Jay-Z, he was bringing 2 Chainz. So everyone's waiting. I mean, people are livid because first of all, Nicki done messed up. Monica was also 30 minutes late and only performed for 10 minutes. Everyone who was big was not good. But then he comes out after all that, doesn't even perform anything from the new set, from the new album, and says, I'm sorry.
That's too bad.
Sir, you need to be apologizing to us for other things. This is not what I care about. You need to be granted, I can't really be mad because we got our tickets for free. We are blessed and highly favored, okay?
That's a blessing.
Okay. I wasn't that mad.
The women were late. What's new, Trev? What's new?
Okay.
Don't do that. Ray Shrummer was great, though. Ray Shrummer was phenomenal. They was like, everyone was so mad and angry. They were like, this is the greatest crowd we've ever seen.
Oh,
that's crazy.
But yeah, I didn't understand the apology. Now he did mention it was for spiritual reasons. For that, I do have a very small ounce of respect because I don't necessarily know his spiritual journey, and I don't ever want to judge people's spiritual journeys. But I was just like, nothing even happened yet. Like
it just started.
This is not Tupac, FOB, and the clique you claim. Like,
right.
We haven't even gotten there.
It was not that deep.
I was confused. I'm
glad you were able to censor yourself by saying that because I could never say that line censored.
I have a child now. I gotta
we will. Let's move. Let's move forward. Let's talk about something positive in Black culture that happened over the weekend. Dawn Staley and the South Carolina women's basketball team, South Carolina University women's basketball team, won the national championship. I mean, she's only lost 3 games since being
3 games
head coach, but undefeated season. What a wonderful job. What I have to say about that is I'm a little disappointed in the coverage because all we focused on was Caitlin Clark. Angel Reese, their whole beef going on LSU, while these women were balling. And I felt like their quest to remain undefeated should have been more of a story than Caitlin Clark. Now, Caitlin Clark, she is amazing. She is like her draw to the game, what she has brought to the game is back-to-back records for basketball game watching. So the championship game, 19.5 million people watched. That's the best in 5 years for any basketball game, men's, women's, collegiate, NBA, like all of them. The game before that with UConn set that record first at 14.5 million. So her draw is amazing. She's going to go on to transform women's basketball. So I'm glad to see that. But it just felt like they really wanted her to win that championship. They really wanted her in that championship game. I think the foul called in the UConn game, while it was a foul, was the wrong time to call something like that. Like, you let the girls play. Like, and it changed the total end of that game to me. But Caitlin Clark, I feel like she was getting fair press, but it wasn't fair to the women of South Carolina
at all.
And Dawn winning in the way she did and having to, I don't want to say this to sound mean, but always having to share. It feels like we always have to share our victory with someone who's lost. And last year, it was the LSU girls who still had to say something about Caitlin when they were the victors. And this year, again, it's Dawn Staley having to say that, Caitlin's going to do this, Caitlin's going to do that. We all know that. We watched her score.
It wasn't about her, baby girl.
But this is not about her at this moment. This
but
is
I know
about,
why she did it.
Yeah, and I get it. But she had to, and because she knows what would have happened had she not.
Right.
And it shouldn't be that way. But she said we serve an unbelievable God.
Amen. And we do.
And her work there is amazing. And I also love how she holds her girls in check. Because when they were getting a little high and mighty in that press conference, she turned right at her girl and was like, "You gave up 21 points tonight."
Okay.
Like, let's not get. Let's not. So I love her. I love what she's doing for basketball. The women's tournament was way more fun than the men's tournament this year, in my opinion. And the men's championship game, I think, is on now, and I don't even who's in it.
Is it today?
It's sometimes like.
Kristen, how did you feel about it? I know you were really watching every single game while I was stuck in Africa. I couldn't. So
I have never paid this much attention to to college basketball. Like I always watch during the playoffs, but I was like amazed at how well these women played. First of all, because I mean, there is no light on women's basketball the majority of the time for anybody, like men, women, whoever. Like you just barely paying attention. But like to see those stadiums sold out and like for those people to show up and everything to be televised, because that was even a thing. Like that was not happening. You just did not see them play. But no, it was phenomenal. And I love that happened for them. All of them.
Janelle?
First I want to say I think that Dawn Staley is amazing. And I was literally praying that she was gonna win. Like we had no service at Dreamville, but I was like, I really hope that once we leave here, I'm gonna see that it said that she won, and it did. The thing that frustrated me was number one, I can't say like you said, Caitlin Clark is phenomenal. She's a phenomenal athlete. Her allegiance, her dedication, her confidence is really, really beautiful and really dope. And I also think the way that she's handled all of this, because there are people like her who could have definitely used the coverage to her benefit. She definitely could have used this as making her as the savior and other people the villain, but her focus really is basketball. So I really appreciate her. As someone who is a fan of ESPN, I'm a fan of the NBA. And like you, I'm really getting into college sports again, I'll say, and specifically women's basketball. I think there was a disservice done when it came to the coverage. I think it was the whole idea of them being against each other and the way that they were narrating was made up. This was simply athletes talking crap as anyone else does in any other sport. I just watched them hockey players get like kicked out within the first 4 minutes of the damn game. Like it just really, really, really frustrated me that these women can't do anything. And the narrative is always black versus white. And neither of these ladies had anything to do with that. But I think it's a huge congratulations to Dawn Staley, and I hope that I just hope that journalism gets better. It's what I studied at Howard. It's what my degree is in. I love journalism, but I'd be embarrassed because
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was sad to see. But something that wasn't sad to see today was the solar eclipse. It comes around once. Total one for certain areas comes around once every 400 something years. So to have so many people in America in the path of one was amazing. Apparently in Arkansas, a bunch of people got married during the totality event. So when it got dark, I don't know why I want to marry my woman in
Not the
darkness.
face. It is
I was a little
Arkansas,
confused
Janelle.
about
Don't
that,
judge
but it's
me.
Arkansas. Things are backward. I was stationed there for a few years, so I understand they're particular folk.
They just-
Um,
I
there
have
were
many
some people
questions.
in medieval outfits and stuff getting married. Yeah, it was strange. It was strange. But being able to see it and watch the world dim, just put me at awe, with what God can do. And for anyone to just you say it's science, but I say someone has to be behind it all because it's just too amazing how that happened. And you flat earthers, y'all just don't make sense. Y'all don't make no sense how this works. Like if you really believe that, anyway, sorry. Did you experience it, Janelle? Did you see the world dim?
I went outside and I looked at it through my fingers for half a second, and then I didn't care anymore.
Okay. It'll be back in 20 years.
I did take a really cute video, a reel that is doing very well on Instagram.
That is much more important
with you.
because
The one that
I
was.
don't know. Can I be honest?
Listen.
Be transparent. With everything going on in the world, and I know that there are people that have no way of enjoying that little. I couldn't even enjoy it. Like being able, I don't know why, but running out there, I was just like, I'm very, very much empathetic as to what's going on.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, man, it's so nice to be able to just have a moment where everyone seems happy. But it's like, yeah, we're happy, but for the most part, everyone outside this place is not happy. So I was kind of feeling for folk. I've also been sick on and off for the past week. So clearly I'm emotional as well.
Right.
Okay. Definitely understand it. Kristen?
Yeah, I did. It was very interesting. And I understand what you mean, Janelle, by that completely, because you're right. I'm a full-blown empath. I feel everybody's pain all the time. But it was one of those things where it was taking a moment away from all of that and just being like, wow, this is pretty amazing to see something like this, because I'll never see another one. I will never be able to see this. And it was pretty close to total here. So it was really interesting to see. So yeah, it was pretty awesome.
Yeah. Watching all the street lights and things come on in the middle of the day, thinking it was nighttime, and watching all the birds be like, yo. Can you imagine that being a bird and you just flying and it just get dark? And you just
because one side of the house was very dark, the other side was very bright. It was crazy.
The duality of it all. But all right, y'all. We're about to get into the portion of the show where Kristen's gonna tell her story. With that being said, I do want to again issue the trigger warning. If you or anybody you know has been a victim of sexual assault or anything like that, this may not be the episode for you. But if you choose to stay, we do appreciate you supporting this woman as she tells her story. With that being said, Miss Kristen, the show is yours.
All right, now pray for me, y'all. We're gonna see how this goes. So for me, this story started when I was very young. I am 40 now. Let's be clear. So this started when I was about. Yeah, I am. Thank the Lord. But but this story starts when I was 11. My parents got divorced when I was 11. By the time I was late into my 12th year of life, they both got remarried. My dad got remarried. He moved to Memphis, Tennessee. My mom got remarried and she stayed in West Virginia. So I'm very much a daddy's girl. But for whatever reason, at this age, I felt like, oh, I need to stay with my mom because she needs some type of protection. I don't know why, but that's just what my life was like. So anyway, my mom gets married, and her husband, I had known him my entire life. So I had known him when I was little. He went to my dad's church when I was born. So I had known him my whole life. I didn't think anything of this.
Sorry. So are you from West Virginia?
Yes, I'm from West Virginia.
I just don't know.
We already had this conversation.
I just don't know many black people. West Virginia, so it's just they're
Oh,
like
I'm sorry.
unicorns.
I'm
They're like
sorry.
It's black
unicorns.
people in West
There
Virginia.
are
They're
black people in West Virginia.
they're like unicorns. It's crazy.
Well,
Go
I'm
ahead.
a unicorn and I'm one of them. So
Okay.
anyway, but yeah, like I was saying, like I've literally this man's mother lived next door to my grandmother and they were best friends. So I've seen him my entire life. I didn't think anything of it. I'm like, cool, whatever. She happy, I'm happy for her. So he moves into the house me and my mom lived in, and I would say give it like 6 months, everything was cool. So by the time they got married, I was probably 13. Things started getting a little weird. He was like looking at me kind of weird and all of this stuff. I'm a kid, first of all. Let's be clear. Regardless of what anybody wants to think or say, I'm probably going to say that multiple times because I've heard a lot of things in the last 30 years of my life. But I'm a child. You are a person that is supposed to be protecting me. Let's be clear. This is my thought process. That is everything that I have learned from my grandparents, my dad, not really my mom, but we'll get into that part later. But like as I go, I'm like, okay, the people around you that are adults, these people are trying to protect you. This is my thought. So by the time I'm around 13, he starts to molest me. And it's like little stuff here and there. My mom would go take a shower and he would just be like trying to touch me and stuff like that. And I'm like, this is weird and pretty sure this is not right. But again, I'm a kid. I am not, this is not really making sense to me. He's like, it's fine. You're fine. Everything's okay. You're the adult. So, okay, I guess that's what it is. So moving on, this continued until I was about 15. So it just became more of an occurrence. By the time I was 15, it turned into rape, basically. Like ultimately, that's what it was. I could not give you any type of consent as a child. So therefore, that's what it turned into. So at this point, it was like weekends, my mom would run errands and all this other stuff. And this is what now that I've been through therapy and look back on the whole situation was very strange to me because when it was me and my mom, obviously if she went and ran errands, I went with her. Now all of a sudden she would go and be like, no, 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 you stay here. Why? Strange. It was always very strange to me, but it just never clicked at the time because I'm still growing up. And at that point, when this started to happen, I was very against it because I'm just like, no, I'm good. I don't want to do that. And this is when the manipulation started. So it was your mom's not going to believe you. You can't tell nobody else because they not going to listen to anything that you got to say. So he gets in my head. I'm a child. So I'm like, all right, cool. I don't really believe that if I tell anybody else that they won't believe me or they won't hear me out because I know my daddy. He would have killed him. And my thought was, if I tell my dad he's going to prison, I'm going to protect my dad at all costs. That was my thought. With my mom, I did truly believe that she would not believe me. So I was like, it's not a good idea for me to even fight this. So I just gotta do whatever he says he wants me to do, and that's just what it's gonna be. So now when you are at this stage in your life and you're like starting to develop and become a woman and all this, like a young woman and all of this, this is when you start to build your self-esteem. You're already in school. You already got to deal with people at school and this and that. And so I'm dealing with that and trying to deal with whatever I got going on at home. So me building self-esteem was not a thing that was happening. And of course, I'm going to a predominantly white school where all the boys like white girls. So you're just like, well, okay, this is also very awkward and uncomfortable. So all of that is happening at the same time. So as I'm developing, I have no self-esteem, basically. So I'm like, I don't really know how this is supposed to go as I'm growing up. So all of this continues until I'm 18. So when I was a junior in high school, I decided I was going to the Air Force. I left a week after I graduated high school and went to the Air Force.
So question, sorry to stop you.
No.
Question though. And you said your mom would go out and do errands. Did you ever like insist that you go with her? Like was there ever like a I
multiple
absolutely don't want to
times,
be left in the house by myself.
multiple times.
And
And
she
her,
said no.
what was her
She said
response?
no.
Did she know?
Now, today, I believe that she did. We're gonna get there.
Okay.
I really do.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
And I don't think she'll ever say that, but I do believe that she knew. So, first of all, my family is petrified. This is 9/11 happened my senior year of high school.
Mm.
So I was like, okay, I don't care. I'm still leaving because all I knew was I have
gotta
to
get
get
out.
away from here.
Yeah.
I didn't know how I was going to get away, but I was getting out of that house no matter what I had to do. So I leave, I go to basic training, all of that. Him and my mom and my dad and my stepmom, they all come to my graduation. I am stressed the hell out because I was just uncomfortable. I had not seen him since I left. All of this, and this is crazy. I don't think I've ever told anybody this, but I'm gonna tell you. While I was in basic training, so at this time there's no like cell phones, so it's not like that's all happening. This is 2002, long time ago. He sent me a card. And he wrote the most disgusting things in this card. I can't even remember what it was now. I ripped it up into like so many pieces. I was so disgusted and angry. And I was like, I cannot believe that this man will not leave me alone. Like, what is wrong with him? What type of person are you? Because now I'm 18. Now I'm like, I know
You
that
grown.
I knew that this was wrong then, but now I'm like, sir, you have lost your mind. So I get rid of all the evidence because I'm like, I don't even want to see this again. Like I can't handle seeing this again. So moving on, again, he comes to the graduation and I'm just like, no, absolutely not. Like every move I made sure my dad was with me. Anytime I was off base, I'm like, I made sure my dad was there as well because I was just uncomfortable. So after I go to tech school, all of that, I went home twice after that. I went to West Virginia. Let me put it that way. I went to West Virginia twice after that. The first time I went, my mom had just had surgery. So everything was cool. I had no problems, no issues, nothing major. Because she was there the whole time. So nothing happened. Second time, which was the last time I walked in this house, I went to the house. My dad went up the street to go see his cousin, whatever. He's like, just call me when you're ready to go. Cool. So I'm there. I'm sitting there catching up with my mom. She says she has to leave. For what? I said, all right, well, I'll go with you. I live in Arizona at this point. I don't see you often. This is like the only time that you're going to see me. And this was like right before I was about to deploy. So she's like, no, you just stay here. Why? I don't want to stay here. I want to leave. So she just insisting, no, I'll be right back. It's not a big deal. So this man tells me, he pulls out this envelope and he says, I have $1,000 here. If you have sex with me, I'll give it to you. I'm sorry, what? No.
Wait. This is the same man that was doing this from the time you were 13 till now. Now he thinks he's just going to treat you like a prostitute and pay you? Like what? Delilah, I think, has the best comment. What the hell? Like,
absolutely.
Also, we got the Brown family in the house. I want to lighten this real quick. They said they got us on the big screen.
All right now.
Although they're very engaged with tonight's topic, they say they love the dialogue. So we appreciate that. Tell your friends about us. We all right. Go ahead, Janelle.
You're muted.
It's because it was like so many sirens. I didn't want to interrupt your story.
Oh, no, you're fine.
So before your mom left, what kept you from saying the reason I don't want you to leave me is because?
Oh, girl, I don't know. At that point in time, like I was so terrified, and like the manipulation that he like worked on me, it worked. Like it was A1.
How old was this man?
Oh, girl, because he was older than my mom and my dad, so I couldn't even tell you. Like he was quite a bit older, too damn old to be doing.
Well, period. We know that,
as we all know, but it's just
okay.
So you left, you come back. Were you scared that you were gonna tear apart like her marriage or something? Like was that like a thought? Like Oh, you could care less.
No, he just
It was just that he had that
manipulated
kind of
her with his
control.
ear.
Okay.
It was in my head. And a lot of it still, I was still at this, I had this deep fear. I'm like, I know if I say anything to my dad and he's here, if I would have told my dad that day, he would still be in prison right now. Like I knew that was going to be the case. So it was like me as a kid, I'm trying to protect everybody. And now I'm this adult I'm a kid stuck in this adult's body that is still trying to protect everybody and not thinking about myself. Like I was not trying to protect me. Nobody was protecting Kristen, but I'm like, well, I just don't want anything bad to happen to anybody else. That was my thought process. So of course he asked me this question and I'm like, no, I'm not doing that. And he's like, well, I'm just going to take this money back to the bank. Please do. Bye. I picked up the phone. I called my dad. I didn't even wait for my mom to come back. I did not care. My dad came. He's like, you all right? Why are you leaving so quickly? It don't matter. Let's just go. Never talked about it. Left it alone. So I think that something about that particular moment, that situation, pushed me to figure out what the hell was wrong with me. Because I was so depressed. I'd had anxiety. I was drinking every day. Like I did not have to go work a 14-hour shift. I didn't care because I just wanted to numb the pain. I just knew something wasn't right. And after that, I think I left 3 months later. I went to Baghdad. So now I got sexual trauma. Now I got whole new trauma because there are bombs going off every damn day. So I'm like, I don't know if those traumas were like, hey, here, something got to make room for what we got going on. So I shoved all of that stuff down and I'm like, oh, I got to deal with this. Something is not right. So I went to mental health in Baghdad and they're like, all right, we're going to do what we can do here. They gave me medication. I was on like Zoloft or whatever. So it was like, okay. Cause I'm like, I was crying every day. I'm like, I can't do this. Like I got to figure out what the hell is going on. So I come home and I had a follow-up appointment. And so when I went, they're like, what do you think the root is? And I'm just like, I don't know. I just keep going in and they just keep asking me questions. And finally, for the first time in my entire life, I said it out loud. I was like, it has to be what happened with my mom's husband. Like, this is my problem. That's the source of all of this pain. So they sent me to a therapist that specialized in sexual assault. So one of the first things he stated that I do, first of all, they gave me a male therapist, which was terrifying at first, but he was the best thing that could have ever happened to me. Like his name was Mark. I remember him to this day. He literally saved my life. Like he was amazing. But one of the first things he told me I needed to do, yes, Mark, I wish I could find him right now. He was amazing. He really was. One of the first things he told me I needed to do was to build a support system. He's like, before we start digging into all of this, I need you to have someone outside of me that's in your family so you can start to process all of this. So I called my aunt and my grandmother and I told them. They were very supportive and helpful and like always just whatever I needed. So it took me a few weeks before I could build up the strength to be like, all right, now I'm ready to talk to my mom. Because I don't know what it was. In my mind, I'm like, if I call my daddy first and he know that she don't know, he's going to call and it's all hell going to break loose. And I'm not going to do that. So I was like, let me talk to her first. So my aunt is on the phone with me when I make this phone call to my mother. And I tell her, I was like, listen, I need to tell you something. This is what is necessary for me to begin my healing process. And she says, okay, well, what's going on? So I tell her, it's like, when I was there, this is what happened with your husband. And I need you to know this so I can begin to heal. Her first statement, she takes a deep breath. Now I got to get another divorce.
What? What?
The frustration that I felt, I said, honestly, if you want to stay with him, that's your business. Do your thing. But I'm telling you this for me. And that's what I'm trying to tell you. I'm like, I never have to step foot in that house again, and I'm not. So if you want to stay with him, stay with him. That's on you. But I am not coming there, and I am not dealing with him. That's up to you. So she says, I just need some time. I have to think about this. I don't know what to do.
Need some.
He needs some time. I said, okay, well, you do what you got to do. She takes 3 days. She goes and stays with one of her friends. I still have not told my dad at this point now because I had to wait. I was like, I gotta let this simmer because I was already like,
Woo
I
child is
I was
right.
bracing myself for this impact because I was pretty sure this is what was gonna happen. So she she calls me back 3 days later and she said, I'm gonna need you to stop telling this lie and
Ooh.
talking about my husband like this because I don't appreciate you trying to ruin my life and you just want me to be miserable. I'm not going to deal with this. I said, that's fine. You don't have to deal with me. That's just what it's going to be. So that was that. Now I called my daddy and it was a totally different conversation, as I'm sure you know. He got very quiet. So I was very concerned. And at the time, he still lived in Memphis at the time. And he's like, I have to get off the phone and I have to pray because if I don't, I'm going to kill that nigga. Period. That was it. That was the end of the conversation. And I assumed that was the case. Thankfully, he did not do that. So I'm very grateful for that. But yeah, so the next year was rough because it was like telling my family and my family finding out. And like my grandfather was like 94 at the time. And we were very, very close. And he was so upset because when I was younger, when I was like 13, 14, he said something to my dad, like, make sure that nothing is happening with her and that woman's husband. He's like, if anything is happening, I will kill him. You ain't got to worry about it. He's like, I've lived my life. I'll go to jail for the remainder of my life because he's not going to hurt my granddaughter. So this was like heartbreaking for him. And he actually had an incident at the hospital a few months later. Like this was everything happened really fast. And he was in the ICU and he ended up passing away. So it was like super heartbreaking because I didn't get a chance to see him face to face, talk to him multiple times, but I never got a chance to see him face to face and have this conversation with him and all of that. So of course I have to go back to West Virginia. So I'm a little concerned about going home, but went home. While my grandpa was in the hospital, this is when all my family is finding out. So my dad's side of the family, a little rough. These ain't educated people. My mom's side of the family, these is a family, everybody is an educator. Everybody on my daddy's side of the family is from the hood, period. They from Columbus, they sell drugs and do their own thing, and that's their business. But once the conversation happened, they were looking for him when they came in town to see my grandfather. He got himself put in the hospital. He goes to the hospital that wasn't obviously not the hospital that my grandfather went to. He goes there. He was a diabetic. So they're like, oh, okay, well, there's nothing going on. Your sugar is good. Like, you don't have any issues. He's like, well, I feel like I do. So you need to put me in here. This town is this big. So everybody know everybody's business. This is how we know. He knew they were looking for him. So therefore, he got himself put in the hospital. But anyway. Nothing happened there, thankfully. But grandfather's funeral, they did not show up. I did not hear from my mom, even though she knew how close I was to him and all of that. I still have not heard from her at this point. Once I got home from the funeral, she reaches out to me and she's like, oh, I'm really sorry to hear about your grandfather, whatever. I said, oh, okay. I said, why didn't you call me? Or why didn't you come see me? You knew I was there. Well, I don't have anything to say to you because you out there lying on my husband. I said, cool. Don't worry about it. I just got off the phone because at this point, I'm like, there's nothing to talk about. If every time you talk to me, this is what we gonna have, I don't have anything to say to you. Mm-hmm. Fast forward. Hold on. Let me see where my notes is at. Yeah, I continued my therapy. I got pregnant with my son. So I'm going through therapy because and then at this point, like I almost had like a bigger push to get myself together because I'm like, I don't want my son to get here and I'm still just in shambles. Of course, it wasn't perfect. I still had a lot of issues and a lot of stuff to work through. But those years passed. My mom was not there. I had my son. I am her only child. Let's be clear. I do not have a bunch of siblings or nothing. I am her only child.
You're her only child?
Yep.
These comments. Color Me Kayla says, woo child. Yawande said, wow, not her first words. I guess she was talking about when her first words were, I gotta get another divorce.
Yeah, her divorce. Yeah.
Yawande says, yes, dad, I guess for him praying and not killing them.
Yes.
Color Me Kayla says, at this point, keep your damn sorry, lady.
Yeah,
I
bring
guess
it
saying
home.
that
Pretty
to your
much.
mom.
She can have
And
it.
hello to Southern Cheese, too, who just joined. Um, so you have your son.
Mm-hmm.
You're her only child.
Mm-hmm.
She's nowhere to be found at this moment because she
Mm-mm.
wants to keep up the charade she wants. Was were you? And I hate to ask it, but it's just I want to be like in your mind of where you were at that time.
Mm-hmm.
Were you happy at the birth of your son, or were you like, oh my gosh, like I'm bringing a kid into this? Like,
I was very happy. I was
okay,
young,
good.
first of all. I was 21. But I mean, I was super thrilled. Um, it was difficult because my dad was there and that was wonderful. My stepmom came, which I'm very grateful to her for that. But it was just very uncomfortable because it was like, dang, my mom is supposed to be here. Like she is supposed to be the person that is with me through all of this or whatever. And she was nowhere to be found. Like she knew that I was pregnant, all of that, but nothing. But yeah, so it was
Okay, so
all
you
bad.
can keep pushing the story. Keep pushing the story.
Okay, I'm almost done.
Oh,
Anyway,
no,
so
take your
no,
time.
so anyway, so yeah, the years go by, whatever. She met my son when he was almost 4 for the first time. So
Whoa.
she met him when he was about 4, and she was very upset because he he wouldn't really speak to her, or like he wasn't really all
Ooh.
invested in her. First of all, he was sitting there playing with his iPad, minding his business. We came back for my dad's stepmom, so my grandmother. She was raised as my grandmother. She had passed away, and so we came back. Her and her husband were there, so I'm already just overwhelmed. Let's be clear.
She brought. Oh my
Hold on, hold
god.
on, hold on, hold on.
Mhm.
Wait. First of all, let me read some comments and then I'm gonna let you
No, you
restate
didn't.
that. I need you to restate because
Ooh,
I'm that
Jesus have
hold
mercy.
that box that up. Miss Nene says you and your mom were close before this. Were y'all close before this? Uh
So, Nene, look, we were as close as we could be. My mom has always see we're gonna have to have a whole mama episode, but me and my mom have always had a very interesting relationship. When her and my dad split up initially, well, I wouldn't even say they split up. My dad went to another church. She didn't want to go and move out in somewhere else in the state. It was a whole thing. I was probably one of my fond, like I won't say fond. One of my biggest memories with my mom is she looked me in my face and said, "I need you to get out of my face because you look like your daddy, and I don't want to see you right now." I will never forget that as long as I live. She told me that when I was 5.
But let me
So
say this: you look just like
I
your
do.
daddy, though.
I do,
They
and I'm
are
not taking that away
twins.
from her, but that ain't
They
my
are
fault. She
twins.
the one who
But for
laid
her to
down
use
and had
that
a baby
against
with
you
that
as a child, oh my gosh.
man.
My
She
mom
laid
said
down and had
something
a
very
baby with that
similar.
man. That's not my fault.
I was gonna say maybe we do need to have a mom episode.
We do.
We can
Yes.
definitely have a mama
Because
episode.
between
I'm
us
with it.
three,
There's a lot, girl. It's a lot.
um,
So we could definitely do that. Um,
Donatello says you're very strong for sharing this story.
oh, thank you.
Um, we got hold on, Jazz, our resident legal expert,
Amen.
says that I don't talk about nobody mom because I am one, but I don't like your mom for this at all.
Girl,
Um,
you ain't alone.
Yewande says he don't know you in all caps.
Amen.
Color Michaela says wait, she still ain't left his ass. Mayor Hey Mayor says he was there. And then Jazz says I would have
She
been on the
really
episode.
said.
Jazz says I would have
That's
been
just
on an
not right.
episode
Oof.
of Crime Watch Daily, our first 48, if this had happened. So
Oh,
restate what you
speaking
said,
of
please.
the whole first 48 thing, let me just go back for a second. After I said all of this, my dad was like on a manhunt, like he's going to jail. I said, cool, whatever you want to do, we can handle it that way. Again, like I told y'all, this
Still,
town is this
yeah.
big, this big. So I got one phone call from somebody at the courthouse. I don't know who it was or what was going on. They interviewed me once. It was like very vague. Never heard from anybody again. My dad called and called and called. Nothing. I was like, okay, well. And I mean, I don't know. I was 20. No, I was 21. I was 21 at the time. But I was just like, whatever. It is what it is. Y'all know I'm good. It is what it is. I don't know what happened, but whatever. So Fast forward, yes, we're at my grandmother's funeral and they are there. And when I'm leaving, I avoided him at all costs. Like I dodged him. I didn't want to see him. Don't come over here. Don't talk to me. Don't get in my face. And my dad is standing in the pulpit and he decided to stand up and have something to say. Lord, I was just praying.
Who decided to stand up and have something to say?
That lady's husband. With my daddy standing right there.
Is this man still alive?
He ain't now. He gone somewhere to hell. But
absolutely.
Yeah.
Quickly. I'm certain.
Expeditiously, as Tina would say.
So at this particular time, as we're leaving, my mom stops me and she says, well, I still love you even if you don't love me. Okay, girl. I was like, nobody ever told you that. Like,
let me tell you something mothers know how to do.
Manipulate.
Manipulate you into thinking it's all you don't love me. Oh yeah, girl. Woo.
So I just went on and left. My daddy was ready to go off, but I was like, no, because that's what she want us to do. She want us to act ignorant. She want us to act crazy. Let's just go. So we left. So this is, oh my gosh, Keegan was probably 5, my son.
Good kid. Good guy.
I did not. I didn't talk to her again until he was probably 8 or 9.
No conversation ever.
Well, she reached out to me. She wanted to let me know that he was in the ICU.
Who was in the ICU?
Her husband, and he's about to die. And
good. Let me know when he says. So I
he said, "I know you don't care, but I wanted to let you know." I said, "Well, I'm so sorry that you went through that." I don't know what you want me to say. No, I'm not sad. I'm not upset. I'm not. No, none of that. Be blessed.
I don't know what you had nobody else to call.
Well, call somebody else.
That must have been the reason she called.
It ain't me.
But that's the thing, though. Coming from
the audacity.
People who have moms that are like this, and I've been very vocal on that. My mom is. That's kind of how we bonded with each other. Our moms are very similar.
Mm-hmm.
I think good moms know, but bad moms don't. How much their word tugs at the coils of your heart when they say things like that.
Yeah.
Especially when you are trying your hardest to live a good life and be a good son or a good daughter to them. And then they twist and use that against you. How that sticks in your mind that there's something wrong with me. I'm not doing the right thing. So
absolutely.
Nini says we should have a mom and daughter session. Breaking the chains is hard, but not impossible. So proud that you would tell your truth.
Yes,
definitely. Jazz, I love you. She says your mama done got that life insurance money and still can't say sorry.
I hope she got something out of it. For all of this, she better have gotten something.
Karma and diabetes gonna take him out. Karma and diabetes gonna take him out. Amir said the nerve. She know you don't care, then why call you?
That was exactly my question. Girl, what you on my phone for?
So your mother's a godly woman?
We'll get to that.
I love you too, Delilah.
Delilah says, Kristen, you are one of the most kind and genuine souls I have ever met.
Y'all not about to have me crying right now. Okay?
I'm so glad you made it through this trauma. I love you. And I will.
Girl.
I will definitely second that.
Weep. It's very easy.
My mama is a minister. She preaching.
So should it be mothers in ministry?
Because my mom decided that she was. And this is why we bonded. My mom decided she was gonna do the same thing.
Praise God for therapy. I got a session tomorrow.
But anyway, go ahead, Kristen. I'm sorry we keep interrupting your story.
Listen, it's necessary because this is foolish. Anyway, so he dies, and okay. Then my grandmother decides to get on this bandwagon of foolishness and says, "Well, you need to come to the funeral." The hell I do? To what? Spit in his face? I'm not going.
Yes.
And my dad is like, no, like absolutely not. I'm grown. I'm good and grown at this point. So I'm really like, y'all all have lost your mind. I was almost 30. I'm like, no, we're not. I'm not doing that to myself. And she's like, well, forgiveness is for the living, not for the dead. I don't care. I'm not going. Let's
stuff
be
that
clear.
ain't in the Bible.
Why do people think we gotta
girl
stuff that ain't in the Bible that we just say?
But there's a lot of y'all need to read Proverbs because Y'all ain't saying for real. Y'all can repeat these same old verses all the time, but I promise you what y'all think y'all saying, because ain't no way you raping me. You think
I want to go? And I told her very clearly, I'm like, had you gone through what I went through, you would understand.
But no. There should be nobody should have to be assaulted or raped to have to understand that.
Listen,
we should do the complete opposite of ever bringing any anxiety or stress onto you. I do not understand why that is so hard for the seasoned people, the seasoned saints. Like, and maybe it's because they have some trauma that they've never been through. I really try to give grace because that generation definitely was not given the motivation to deal with things. They just accepted. But baby girl, I'm not
doing it. And a part of, and you're so right, because when it comes, especially in our community, it was always, oh, that's just Uncle so-and-so, or that's just Auntie so-and-so. That's what they do. And we're not going to talk about that because that's not nobody else's business. Nah, you can kiss my ass, because that's not okay.
You should be wearing them shorts around my uncle.
Everybody about to know. Because what you're not going to do is do this to anybody else. Because no, it's not okay.
So, I have a question. Go ahead, Joe.
How old is your son now?
He's 17.
Have you told him this?
Mm-hmm. We have talked about this.
Telling him,
he was a little annoyed, but he never knew him. He didn't know nothing about him. Like, it was never like that. He does not necessarily like my mom very much. Especially now, like, he talked to her whenever she contact him or whatever. But he's protective of his mom, so therefore he's like, I don't really like that part of it. But yeah, I'm very real with him, because I don't want him to walk through life and not realize that, because that's the thing. People try to shelter their kids from stuff, and then they don't know and don't understand, and it's like, I got to deal with this for the rest of my life.
Yeah,
I think there's been a lot of that. Black families in general try to hide these secrets away and stuff like that, and then they get to die and don't have to deal with the fallout of what happens when someone finally says it or blurts it out at a dinner table. Now the whole family's in shambles while you have gone to what you think is glory,
or they'll admit it on their deathbed.
Yeah, or they admit it on, like, and then leave you with the shambles of the pieces that they've created. Like, I don't know why that is. So I remember I've done the same thing you did. I told everybody I had a relative who had some outside children, and he wanted to keep a secret, and ended up bringing them to the family reunion, and thought he was just gonna throw it on everybody else. Like, we were gonna, like, no,
not.
Don't. And it had them coming up introducing themselves.
Is there a diagnosis for this?
There has
narcissism.
I feel like it's
no.
They need to have different departments of narcissism, because there's too many different levels to this.
I agree.
But no, it's these secrets destroy much more than just the people it happened to. It destroys people's image of the family as a whole. And I hate that for you. My question for you would be, you're a grown woman. You say you're 40. We don't believe it. How has this experience colored your relationship with men in your personal life, if you don't mind? Like, how does it, do you have problems, trusting men or believing men when they tell you things or things like that?
I did for a very, 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 very long time. But a lot of therapy. And it wasn't just because of what happened. It was because, this was probably in the last 5 years that I dug this piece up in my therapy. But I didn't blame my dad. I never looked at it like, oh, my dad should have protected me, whatever. But the reality was, they were my parents.
Yes.
No matter what. And it was like, dang, like, I'm not blaming anybody as far as that part of it goes. The person that did it is the person that's to blame, period. But I had to sit there and be like, okay, there is a piece of this that's like, dang, my dad didn't protect me. Why would any other man protect me? Why would any other man tell me the truth? Why would any other man come into my life and like really genuinely care about me? And like, it took me a while to get to that piece of it, because I always was just like, no, my dad always had my back. But nobody had my back in that situation.
Yeah,
I was by myself.
Can I piggyback off that? Just because that's why I asked you if your mother had known, because I have a kid, and I could be across the nation, and I'll get an inkling that something's wrong. It could be any, like, just a weird feeling in our culture, what's going on. Like, you just know. But I especially know when Zaire is acting off. And like, he's only 4. And I'll ask him when he comes home from school, how was your day? If it wasn't good, I will quietly ask him, I'll let him know, you can tell me anything. Like, I want to know. I'm setting the stage now that you can tell me anything. So it's just crazy to me that nobody saw nothing.
It also makes me wonder. It also makes me wonder what your mom's childhood was like.
Right.
Because this could have, and I'm not giving her an excuse because it's wrong, but like I had to dig through that with my own mom through therapy and stuff. Like, could this have been normal behavior exhibited to her when she was young? So she's thinking that this is how things are. Did she not love herself enough to stand up for her daughter? Because she's married to this dude, and obviously it seems like she knew what was going on.
But I feel like, I'm sorry, I interrupted.
No, I'm just saying, instead of being alone and deciding, like, I'd rather be alone than let somebody do this to my daughter, her choice was, I don't want to be alone, so I'll allow this to continue.
The reason and this is something that I'm dealing with in therapy, I'm actually dealing with family relationships as well.
I get it.
My biggest issue is, especially for people in the church, people get up and get prayed over for rape and sexual assault. We talk about how awful it is. You got the women's ministry talking about this and Don't play with me. Don't play with me. It cannot always be, well, the way I was raised. We are now in the year of our Lord 2024. And I understand every generation grows up different. But I do just see the wild stain that our parents' generation specifically has on us when it comes to these things. It's like, I want to give you grace, but I also have common sense. And it didn't come from you. So I know it came from somewhere. Like, it's just hard for me to believe that no one felt or saw anything, because in that sense, I feel, and I'm not going to say this about your family, but in some instances, I'm like, do y'all actually love me? Because love just, when you have a child,
feel like that.
You love that child. There's nothing I won't do for my child.
And it shouldn't feel like that. That's not what love feels like. I told my mother to her face, because my uncle passed away a couple years ago. Go to Ohio. And I told her directly, I was like, I truly believe that you do something. She ain't deny it.
Because that $1,000, I need to understand.
You didn't know that man
she never like denied
sex and something he needed. Like,
girl, regardless, that ain't got nothing to do with me, right? Like, that's a problem.
I'm just
no, but that's what I'm saying to her, directly to her. And I looked at her and I'm like, what is wrong with you to where you just don't seem to understand? Like, you are still thinking I'm making this up. He gone, and you still looking at me like,
what would you have to gain to make something like this
girl,
up?
That's what I don't understand.
You're not going to the police or nothing like that. What are you?
And I told her then, I'm like, I literally have to deal with this until the day that I die.
Yeah.
Like, regardless. Like, a few months ago, I woke up in a cold sweat thinking that this was happening. It doesn't go away. Like, you process it, you deal with it, whatever. You deal with it easy. I deal with it much easier now than I did then. But I'm like, girl, you actually think I would make something like this up to make your life hard? Come on now.
Let's read some of these comments at the end here. Miss Nini says, so true, sir. You're spot on. I don't know exactly what that was in reference to, but I'm the only sir in the room, so I'll take that. Color Michaela says, girl, shut your mouth. They not saved for real, or then she said, or did she think it was some sick rite of passage? And there are people like that who think that it's daytime, so that this is what's supposed to happen. Like, that is a sick. It's very, very sick. That's that Boosie mindset.
I appreciate you because I know a lot of people will say you're strong. I actually appreciate you realizing that you weren't strong and you really needed help. Because so many people just will not get help. And I know it's scary, but it's like, remove the strong. I'm exhausted. I'm weak. I'm sad. I'm depressed. I'm angry. And I cannot do. Nobody needs to live
broken down.
Nobody deserves to live like that.
No, it was horrible.
I appreciate you for recognizing that. That's so important.
Yeah.
You work through all that. Your son, I've met your son on multiple occasions. He's a very well-mannered young man. Cool. He stole my pants, but we'll talk about that later. He stole a pair of my pants.
They in the suitcase.
Yeah,
We give to
but
the youth.
Right.
I'm gonna get my pants back. But no, he's a good kid. Obviously a testament to your healing and what you've gone through, and you making sure that you didn't pass that hurt on to him, which is an amazing thing, because so many times moms, especially now that you're a mom of a boy, and like you could have very easily transferred this to him, and you have not.
Right.
My question is now, 40, son almost grown. What is the relationship like now with your mother? Is it still fractured where it is? I know she's a minister now, as you said. So
I didn't mean to make that face.
Oh no, make whatever face you need. But how is that now? What does that look like for you now? Do you want it to? Do you want?
Minister?
Yeah. Do you want it to get better? Is my question.
So after I dealt with
Yewande,
26.
Exactly.
She's saying 26 and a half.
I just drink my water and mind my business.
Amen. Amen.
Thanks,
Amen.
Janelle, for your tips. Honestly, so once I dealt with so when you go through a trauma and you deal with a trauma and you're trying to process all of that, you can't do all of it at one time. It's not free for all. It don't work like that. And people think, oh, I went to therapy, so I'm good now. The hell I had to deal with that trauma first. Once I dealt with that trauma, I had to deal with the rest of the trauma that happened. Then I had to start dealing with this mama trauma. The mama trauma was the hardest one. Yeah. Because I'm like, dang, this is the first person I heard speak. This is the first heartbeat I ever heard. You brought me into this world. Like, you helped get me here. And you just turned your back on me? How? So our relationship has been very roller coaster like. She would, for years in between, like before he passed away, I would try to reach out to her and like try to build this relationship back up and all of that. Always got denied, always got played to the left. Like, no, my husband is more important. I did the same thing. I was still going through therapy. So it was a lot that I was still dealing with. And I'm because I hadn't even tapped into the whole mama piece of it. It was like that little kid in me was like, yes, I still want my mom. Like, I still want my mommy. Like, flat out. Girl, I was going through stuff. I'm trying to raise my son. I'm trying to figure this out. I'm going through these traumas and all this. And I'm like, I still want my mom. Yeah. And so I tried and I tried and I tried. And I was like, I can't keep doing this. Something ain't right, because the rejection was just getting too much. So once I started dealing with that therapy, and my therapist was like, okay, is this hurting you or harming you? I was like, it's definitely hurting me. She said, well, what is going to happen if you don't speak to her or if you don't reach out to her? Nothing. So I stopped. I disconnected. I stopped. And it was never, I never disrespected her. It was never like that. It was never like I was hostile towards her. None of that. Left all of that alone. And a few times she apologized. I put it in quotations because it was the most basic stuff I have ever. It was an apology. It was, well, I'm sorry you feel that way. It wasn't exactly. It was never, I hate that this is what happened to you and I didn't protect you. I have never gotten that. Still to this day. Today at 40 and she's 70 years old, never gotten this. Never. And she'll like reach out to me here and there, and it's like, okay, well, I want our relationship to be better because my health isn't great anymore and this and that. I said, okay, well, if that's what you want to do, then you reach out to me. I'm not begging you anymore, because I begged you for years to be in my life and you never wanted to be. But I've realized that I can't keep doing that. So this most recent time she did the same thing, and it was the whole, oh, well, I'm going to reach out to you once a week so we can start to build our relationship again. Cool. I'll be here. You let me know. Y'all want to, I heard from y'all since I heard from her. So there's that. I haven't heard from her. This was the end of February. So like she texted me on my birthday, but she was,
we chatted today, so that's crazy.
Yewande says a good point, and your mom, again, it's very similar to my mom. She might be in too deep now to admit she was wrong, and I think that's where my mom was. But I realized through counseling, it's like I'm not living my life because I'm trying to live the life that it will please you.
Right.
and that will make you happy enough to embrace me.
Right.
And I can't keep doing that, because at this point now it says more about you than
Yeah.
it ever will about me. I've
Yeah.
done the part of honoring my father and my mother. I've tried
Fair
to honor
enough.
you in that.
Yeah.
I've done my part.
That's
What the
it.
Bible doesn't say is to keep being strung along and played with emotionally as someone's child. And it teaches parents to honor their children as well. With that being said, I think that like in my mom's case, I feel like she's gonna have to reach that age where she can't do nothing for herself for her to finally realize that she's alone. And that's what it takes for some people to realize that at the end of their lives, they don't have what they thought they were gonna have.
I don't know
And
what she's
so
gonna do. She can't call nobody else.
yeah, she's looking for a caregiver.
And she
Like
has
she
one
said,
child.
caregivers
That's
not that
why I
She
hard.
was like, I
cannot
got one.
call
I can ruin
anyone
the
else.
relationship.
What hurt
I will
me and
find
my
her putting
mom,
on that her insurance will take care of, and that's all
yeah,
I got.
and what hurt me with
But
my
even that
mom
is still a
is,
form of love.
It
yeah,
is
that's still a
because
form of love.
I don't hate her. That's the
Yeah.
thing. I do
And
love her, but
and
it's
And that's
just
the thing.
mentioning,
what is going on here?
I really think that we take the whole honor your father and your mother
Mm.
way too far. Because
Listen.
number one, and my sister sent me a video on TikTok, it was really good. This young black man, he was saying, I think that what parents need to understand is that when you have children, they're God's children first.
Mm-hmm. You were the
And then
steward of
they're
those
their own
children.
person. And then they're your child, but not your property.
Right.
Not someone who's supposed to make you feel better after you've had a long day. They're not your punching bag. They're not your space to vent, unless, maybe when you get older, y'all have that relationship. But I think that something that has been done in the past, and I love that we're breaking this generational curse, is the idea that because I gave birth to you, you're supposed to do X,
Right.
Y, Z. You're supposed to
Mhm.
honor me. Honor me
No.
doesn't mean you're supposed to fix me, or you're
Mm-mm.
supposed to listen to everything I say, or I denounce your feelings because my husband, there's no way I could believe you. And I think,
Yeah.
I also think that the older generation gets jealous or maybe confused because we aren't raising our kids that way.
Right.
Yeah. Well, because I mean, when you're raised in hurt, all you know is hurt. You can't break what you were born into. Like if you believe that that's just the way things should go. But like for my mom, I haven't heard from my mom on her birthday in maybe 5 years. Or if she does send a message, it's generic and it's the same message she sends to everybody else. It's nothing like pointed. And that's when I knew it wasn't about me. It was more about her. Because I couldn't imagine, I don't have kids, but I couldn't imagine going more than 2 days maybe without talking to my child. Like, but
I'll go wake up Zaire
we
right
can
now.
go, yeah, we go,
Leave that baby alone.
we go months. But it's when you reach that point where you realize I don't necessarily, though I want it, I don't need this relationship to be the person that God wants me to be or that I need to be for the people around me.
That's it.
That they lose that power over you and the manipulation stops working.
Yeah,
And you
that's what it
realize,
is, control.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And then you realize you have a life outside of them and you can keep pushing. So you said that your relationships with men were bad, but now you're back on the right track. You back
As far
living
as I
your life.
know, I mean, I'm doing my best. I'm doing the best that I can, and I mean, it's still like a thing that I have to just navigate to, and just be. I'm cautious, obviously, but I'm not guarded. That was the problem. I was like, before it was like I was just completely guarded. I'll put up a wall. You are never going to see the real version of me. Like that's how I was. It was very bad. It was a bad time of my life. But yeah, now it's just I'm a little cautious, but I'm not guarded. So it's much better.
What would 40-year-old Kristen, the Kristen that's on this show right now, if you could reach back through time and talk to 13-year-old Kristen who was about to go through what she was going through, what would you tell her?
I mean, first thing I would tell her is that it's going to be okay. Because as soon as it happened, it was like the whole world fell apart.
Yeah.
That would be my number one thing to say is that it is going to be okay. It is going to be hard. It is going to be a very dark road. Some people are going to say some things that's really going to get to you. And you're going to have a hard time trusting people. You're going to have a hard time trusting yourself.
Mm.
But when you get to the other side of all of this, it's going to be worth it. Because now, like the person that I am now, I hate that I went through what I went through. Wouldn't wish it on anybody. It was horrible. It will always be a horrible thing. But because I went through that horrible thing and I got to the other side of this. Like
Yes.
through all the prayers and like all the therapy and all of the Jesus. Because if it
Girl, I
wasn't
will
for
throw this
all of
computer.
that, I would not be right here. I
Yeah.
would not be who I am. I would not be able to help other people. And that's why like it used to terrify me to even talk about it, to even bring it up. But now it's like I know that I am not the only person that has happened to. I'm not the only person that this continues to happen to.
Mm.
And I don't care how long it takes or whatever. Like I will always tell my story and always say something about it and always be there to support and defend anybody that goes through this. Because it's so sad to see any woman, but definitely kids go through stuff like this, male and female, to go through this and have to just be silent through their life or feel like they have to be silent.
And that's where I
And
have to congratulate you too, because you became a sapper.
I did.
I don't know what you call it, advocate. What do you guys call it?
Yeah,
Can you
victim
tell everybody
advocate.
what that is? Quickly tell everybody what that is.
Yeah. So in the military we have sexual assault prevention response, like victim advocates. So that was something like we went through this whole course and it was like the whole thing. But we help anybody that goes through any type of sexual assault, even if it was previous to the military, while they were in military, or any of that. We help
Yes.
all like civilian employees, all of that in the Department of Defense. So
That's
And I
so
it's
dope.
very
yeah,
rewarding
yeah.
because that's is you don't ever want to see that happen to somebody, but when you can be there to support somebody and see justice happen for that person, like that's just it's a
And I
victory.
think that's the strongest thing too, because it's like I know, like when you're advocating for someone else, sometimes you're reliving what happened to you
Ooh,
because of what happened
yeah.
to them.
Mm-hmm.
And so to be able to lead somebody and guide them to the help they need, I think that's like one of the most beautiful things. And I think
Yeah.
that's the love that we need more of in the
Mhm.
world today. Instead of everybody, pointing fingers at this and that, it takes the people. It's usually the people that have been hurt the most that help the most. And
I
I've
agree.
always loved that. Uh, with that being said, do you have any parting shots? Anything, any advice you want to give out to the people who may be going through this or anything like that?
Oh well, I mean, don't be afraid to speak up. Don't be afraid to talk to somebody. Sometimes it could literally just be somebody that you know to get started. Uh, that one person that you're like comfortable talking to if something like this happens. And then if you are the person that's on the other side of it and somebody comes to you, please don't turn it around and make it something about you. Calm down. Like be supportive, help them
Yes.
through that moment. Don't be like,
Yes.
well, I know this, or don't try to run over it with something else.
Yeah.
I read something recently and it was like, don't try to like just pass it by, like, well, let's just pray about it. God gonna take care of it. Well, I need the doctors that God put here to help me get through this as well. Like, yes, I
Yes.
want you to pray with me, but
Yes.
don't run past this and act like it didn't happen to me. So yeah, it's just yeah, be there, be
Amen.
supportive.
Well, Kristen, I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. I'm sure Janelle does as well for coming here and telling this story because
Of
my
course.
goodness, that is impactful. It's strong. It's sad, but to see you standing here, well, sitting here
Yeah.
with us, just makes me know that God is real, and you are just an amazing person. And I tell everybody that all the time. You're one of my favorite people, and Regal loves you, so you know you good people if Regal loves you. So,
Yes.
yep. So, with that being said, Janelle, would you like to give us our skincare tips of the night?
Well, y'all traumatized me at Dreamville and decided to have y'all behinds out
Oh,
and not
girl.
moisturize. So I don't even know what to tell y'all no more because we're forgetting the basic steps.
Mm,
Um,
is she?
the weather is changing. So it is time to start switching out your thick creams, your thicker serums, and switch to gel creams, hydrating serums. Look for ingredients like glycerin, hyaluronic acid. Like this is a time where your skin might feel oily in the summertime, but that's because she's actually very thirsty. So providing those hydrating products will really help you. You'll see that your skin isn't as oily anymore and will be snatched all summer 2024.
Okay.
I like that. Yolanda says I wore so much sunscreen this past week.
Yes, girls, I'm ready. Oh, thank you.
And apparently your skincare tips are making it to Africa because I did plug you over there so people
Thank
but
you.
they've been on the sunscreen tip for decades
Well,
apparently.
for
So
whatever reason, people don't think Africans wear sun.
Come on now.
Even though
anyway,
shea butter was one of the first,
yeah.
like, there's
Mm,
properties in shea butter that is a natural sunscreen, even though that's not all you need to use. But
mm.
y'all just be ignorant.
Um with that being said, we are so glad everybody came. Someone said not me about to cry. Unmoisturized black ends. Yes, we don't want to see that. What would WWJD? What would Janelle do? I like that. I like that. That should be your new hashtag. With that being said, I'm going to leave you with something that kind of coincides with Janelle's.
Mm-mm.
Just as the moon covered the face of the sun.
Jesus.
I know exactly what he about to say.
Cover
Mm.
your ass.
Mm.
And this goes out to the fellas today.
Mm.
Those of you that might be about a little husky, as we used to say.
Okay.
I'm getting real tired of seeing y'all come down with them off-white beaters on,
Yes. Yes.
Ooh. Yeah.
with
Those are
jeans with no belt,
Yes.
bad. Mm.
and your canyon in the wind. I'm tired of it.
Do they not feel it?
They have to.
You
It's
got
not
to
that
feel
hot
that.
out here.
And you be bending down like you just don't have any shame about yourself. You
It
got to feel that.
None.
You got to feel that. You be out in public like that.
Mm.
Like, I just don't understand. Like, first of all, beaters don't cost that much.
Hello.
Bleach don't cost that much either.
Hello.
Use a little bit of that.
Dollar General is still open.
Listen.
You can get both. At
There's
Dollar
also
General.
nothing wrong with wearing a belt. Nothing wrong with a belt. They're
Another
tasteful.
item you can get at Dollar General.
Tasteful. Like, are you not tired of grabbing your pants at the top?
Mm-mm. They're not.
I don't. Anyway, and then last but not least, you were wrong. Take yourself back to church on Sunday. The world didn't end today. The rapture did not happen.
Okay.
The Bible says we don't know
There
the
were a
time
lot of
nor the
people
place.
saying this was the end.
This
And
was
I'm
going to
like,
be the
Today?
end.
Oh.
Yes.
y'all, Jesus,
Well,
I don't.
The Bible already told you won't know.
I
And it's
mean,
going to be in the twinkling of an eye. So you won't have time to get ready, but you can get ready at any time.
So why are y'all conjuring up the end of the world? I don't want to go yet. If y'all want to die, there are ways.
But see, my soul
That's
good.
really
So
hard.
whenever Jesus wants to
many.
come, he can come on. But some of y'all going to get caught up in some trees with them pants down like that. I just telling you, get your belts.
They ain't gonna
Goodbye.
make
Hang
it.
up.
We will see y'all next episode, whenever that may be. With that being said, make sure you tell somebody that you love them today. You never know, especially after tonight's episode, what people have gone through or what they are currently going through. So make sure you tell them you love them and you impart kindness, because it doesn't cost anything to be kind. We love you, and we will see you next time. Peace.
Yeah.
You always do it.